And welcome to the show, Ken Nelson. Ken is owner of Practice Score. He also runs Hard as Hell Multigun. He's a match director for Nationals, runs and is a lead trainer for the Tactical Performance Center. And I'm probably selling you short on a whole bunch of other things here, Ken. So maybe what else are you into?
Well, I've been married 30 plus years. I have 2 grown children. Mm-hmm. One of them's looking at wedding venues. So
that's fun.
Yep. So, well, I'm perfectly fine with it. I like families. So I think that sums it up. I also run a shooting range, a large one, the Southern Utah Practical Shooting Range. And that's about it. That might be enough.
That might be enough.
I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but yeah, that's what I do.
I think you've got us all beat in terms of like quantity of activities, because that is a pile of them. But maybe just to start off the top here, Practice Score is something that most IPSC competitors are familiar with. It's definitely getting into 3-gun as the way to score, and in the States is in USPSA, IDPA, and a bunch of other shooting sports. How'd you get into building it? And like it is the most popular platform out there these days. How'd you even get into that?
First, Ken, let me say, as a match director, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
There's a special. You have earned your spot in heaven.
Oh, thank you. Maybe I should go do a few things to, now that I've earned it.
Yeah.
How it happened was my son and I got into practical shooting, and we went to matches, and I never really thought about scoring. We'd shoot a match on Saturday, and on Wednesday or Thursday we'd get the scores.
Yep.
And nobody made any big deal of it. Nobody thought anything about it. And then our stats guy got cancer, and we quickly deduced in our small club that I was probably the only one who could figure out how to install Easy Win Score. And so I did it, and I did the stats the next match, and it took me about 5 hours.
Yeah, and it sucked.
It sucked. I did it wrong. And the kind of the backstory is that when I said I'd do it, I figured my wife would do it. And
How'd that go?
That went terrific. We're still married. Because I heard her say hell no, and I slowly backed out of the room.
Good call.
That was actually that's a verbatim quote. We actually just talked about this yesterday, and she doesn't recall the conversation, but she's pretty sure that I caught her at a bad moment.
Oh, okay.
Unknown bad moment, but yeah. So what happened was I did that match, and then immediately I was unhappy, and so I went out and did some Googling and found a Palm system. I think it was called Stage Score, using the Palm PDAs. And I immediately ordered that and bought 20 Palms off eBay. And that's what we did for the next 4 months-ish. And I just kept losing Palms. And so one of my engineers came in. I run a software company. And he said he wanted to write an app. He wanted to learn to write an app. And I said, well, I might have an app idea. Yeah. That's literally how it went. And I never had any intention of it going beyond Southern Utah Practical Shooting Range. I never told USPSA I was using it. We engineered it to generate the same files as Easy Win Score, reverse engineered that. I used it for months without telling anybody. But then people shot with us, and they were stunned that I had the scores ready, like at the end of the match. And that kind of leaked out, and then it went to Vegas and Lake Havasu, and then
the World.
Yeah.
And then the World.
And then we were asked to do the state match, and then I'm like, I'm not going back to the paper. Yep. And it just sort of went from there. And it was completely inadvertent, accidental, and it was totally meant to solve my problem as a stats person initially, and then later my problem that I have as a match director, and then later as a problem I have as a match director for huge matches. So you can see the iteration. Solving Ken's stats problems, solving Ken's match director club level match director problems, and then solving Ken running a 600-person nationals. that's the iteration of, and we're still in that phase.
Every time I turn it on or do an update, I find a cooler feature that wasn't there the time before. It's almost like you are anticipating our concerns or our problems, or I'm sure you must get flooded with emails from match directors saying, have you thought about this? How can you fix that? And then there's another version. Then there's another version.
Yeah, we do get, I think in a typical week, I'm looking at several hundred contacts from match directors or shooters, competitors. Mm-hmm. And, but we have, I think, 7 or 8 people on the project now, and we're starting to get some community support in terms of helping. So it's manageable. But yeah, let's just say I don't normally have a completely uninterrupted Sunday evening.
Yeah, imagine.
Right? And that's just, that's something you step into and you do it. And you do it because you love the people and you want to help the sport, and you've been there. So fortunately, that is diminishing. I mean, it seems to be just kind of working.
And now, as a match director this year, so like every year I'm adding something new to it. Started off, my association had bought tablets for clubs to use, and they all stayed on the shelf. No one was motivated enough to learn to use it. Plus, we knew that you had to synchronize tablets. We didn't fully understand what that was or what that meant. And then one day we went to a match in the rain. And I said, I will never shoot on paper score sheets in the rain again. The next match, I will have this practice score thing figured out. And then last year, we used it for the first time at my large annual level 3 match. And now this year, we're using it again, of course. Well, we use it exclusively now everywhere in this province. And now this year, we're actually, we have the little printers hooked up. The little handheld point-of-sale printers. So we've completely eliminated any pens or paper or clipboards. You hit approve, and boom, the little receipt comes out the printer. And we ran it today. As a matter of fact, Ken, we ran it today for the first time at my club. It was the pre-match for our annual level 3, and everything went off without a hitch. The next thing I'm going to do is, well, I did it for a smaller match, was to do the registration directly through the website. That is, again, a game changer. People register on the website and then download the register information right to the tablet. I used to get manual pieces of paper, PDF forms. People would download them off the internet, fill them out, and either scan them, fax them, or take a picture of the registration sheet and email it to me. It's done. Everything's electronic now. Payment by electronic, registration electronic. Just
registration, waivers if you choose.
Payment.
I'm like right now I have 4 matches going on, representing about 700 or 800 competitors, and I manage them from a administrative point of view, maybe 10 minutes a day. And the secret to it is I really just let the competitors self-manage. Right? They deal with it. They do their registration. If they want to change divisions, they do it. They can click they just go in and do it. And if they want to know who's in a division, they can figure that out. If they want to know if there's 23 GMs in a division and they want to go division shop somewhere else, or if they want the challenge, I'm not saying, not naming names, I don't get those questions anymore. It's all right there. And that's the kind of the incremental, I always life-wise, I always think about what question I'm going to ask myself when I wake up in the morning, right? That's kind of how I guide. So for practice score, the question I ask is how am I going to make match directors' lives better this morning or today? And then for my other companies and my other activities, like Tactical Performance Center, how am I going to make shooters better today? And so that's how we get that incremental improvement. It's just a matter of what you ask yourself when you get going in the day.
Last little war story, and then I'll let Adriel get to his line of questions. And I just want to let people know. I want to tell this story to you, Ken, in case you're not aware of it, just so you know the kind of support that your team provides. Last year was my first year running PractiScore at our large match. And very early on, like the registration for this match opens about 8 months in advance, sometimes 10 months in advance, and sells out in 30 days. And at some point, I made the mistake of selecting a hosting password. And yeah, you know where this is going. Yeah. And then the tablet that match was created on was wiped, or I shifted tablets. Anyway, could not get the results posted for the life of me. And somehow, through some witchcraft, voodoo, a goat sacrifice, I don't know. I think it was Eugene. He hacked in through the back end and was able to reset it. And I don't know why. I don't need to know why or how, but he was able to do it. And I mean, it really saved. It was our first time running it. It was my first time using it at a major match as the match director, and I couldn't get the result posted. That's panic time.
That is panic time. I mean, there's a couple ways you could have skinned that cat, but having Eugene do some wizardry was the best way, and then get back onto the normal system. I remember that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, everybody that's involved digs practical shooting, right? I mean, in my case, you know, I've been there with PractiScore, you know, in the early days, going, oh, crud, right? But, you know, whenever I do a business, and PractiScore is not really a business, but I kind of treat it the same way. I always try to focus on the best features that I can, the best value, and I guess free is pretty good value.
Yeah.
And then customer support you tell somebody about, right?
Yep.
And
exactly.
You do those three things right, I don't know how a business fails.
Yep. And
so,
wasn't the slogan when it first came out, "It's free and it always will be"?
It still is.
Still is.
That is the slogan. Yeah.
Awesome. It's a good slogan.
Now, what about the app that you could pay for? What was that, and what was the advantage of having that? And is that still a thing?
It is. Yeah, we have PractiScore, the scoring app. Then we have PractiScore Competitor, and that's a paid app that the money goes straight through to the developer that wrote it, who happens to be Eugene. And that's a way that he can earn a little bit of money from his support of PractiScore. So whatever money comes in from either iOS App Store or Android App Store, that comes into my company, and I just send it straight over to him. And the idea there was to provide a way that people could track and compare and do analysis without having to do an Excel spreadsheet. And he and I talked about pricing, and I said, why don't you just price it at what it would cost to fill up a Glock mag, right? So I did the math on that. I said, I'm sorry I didn't do it for whatever ammo costs in Canada, but here in the U.S. it's about 12 cents a round, and so we ended up at that price.
$1.20, right? Because only 10 rounds per mag.
Oh,
not a California mag.
Or a Canadian mag.
All over the U.S.
Yeah, see, we got the 10 rounders up here in Canada.
Yeah, no, $1.20. I think he wanted to do like the drum mags.
Right, gotcha.
And then so that's a popular app. We get messages, I would say weekly, saying they don't know how they did the sport even without that app. It just changes the way they look at it. It helps them understand the value of time versus accuracy. There's a lot of magic in there that if you use it, it helps. It helps you be better. It's certainly a better use of $10 in terms of improvement than whatever you're going to stuff in that Glock mag that one time. It gets you to think about practical shooting, which is, I think, if you think about anything, you're going to get better at it. Then the second app outside of scoring is called Matchbook. And there, you know, I don't remember what match it was, but I was walking around after, you know, in the shock of contact with 500 people, and the 3 weeks prior to build it. And all I could see was matchbooks on the ground, you know, like trash and litter. Yep. I'm like, well, and that might not even been the last day of the match. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And so that's where that came from. So it's our attempt to provide what a matchbook does electronically, plus features. So you can track shooters, you can track your scores, You can register to be notified when their score enters the system for you or any other shooter. Like if you're tracking a competitor, if you're tracking yourself, your phone buzzes, oh, there's a score for Ken Nelson. So it's designed to be a matchbook, but better. And it's also going to be our placeholder for where you can take pictures and videos by stage. And ultimately, we're working right now on a way to do video and integrate the scores and integrate the video into the scores. So when you're looking at results online, there'll be a little video icon. You click that, you'll see the stage run.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That's kind of the end point I see for that particular feature. And I know I got engineers working on it. I try to avoid schedules because they add needless stress. I figure people are working hard, and when it's done, it's done. But I hope, looking at it, I think it'll be a couple months and we'll start to leak that feature out kind of incrementally.
Sweet. So definitely install the Matchbook and Practice Score, and purchase that competitor app as well if you want to get the full value out of it, right?
Yeah, Eugene says thank you if you buy that.
Now the Matchbook one, that's integrated then with the website, so all the stage designs and that kind of stuff feed through to the Matchbook one.
Yeah, the sponsors come through, and that's the other thing that actually we're working on is you can register your own sponsors, and they'll show up when you're looking at your results. I'm just trying to solve kind of the problems for everybody, but with a priority on solving the match director's problems.
Yeah. Well, Trevor had mentioned registration and that kind of thing. Previously, we ran our our local 3-gun matches here with no pre-registration. You show up, you register that morning. We write your name down on the piece of paper, what division you're in, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and, like 18-12.
Yeah, and pre-registration now, it's like, what's your name? Okay, yeah, you're checked in. Next.
Check in.
Yeah. And the check-in is now like 5 minutes maybe, whereas before it was like it was a good 30 to 45 minutes of messing around and getting payments and all these other kind of things that is just gone now. So more time for shooting. Don't have to wake up so dang early. That's nice too.
It's more accurate. And you can do that whether you accept payments or not online. Or if you do, like at our club, if you want to pay online, we just charge 3% extra, right, to cover
Which is pretty standard
fees
for e-commerce, right?
Yeah, and you can pay. So, if I could say that what it's all about, it's about more play, less work, right? And that's certainly a big priority for match directors and stats persons. But we're starting to extend that into range masters, right? We have a whole section now for range master reports that we can use to help people run a better match, and for competitors, like with the video and the score notifications and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the one that I noticed, and I don't know if this is recent or if this has been in there the whole time, but the one I noticed was time per squad per stage. So you can see which of your squads were slow, and you're like, oh man, why was this? Why was there a holdup right here? And the app reports on that for you, which is like when I first saw it, I'm like, how does this do it? Oh yeah, first person in, last person. Okay, yeah, I figured it out.
Time between scores.
Yeah,
It has a little magic to kind of figure out edits and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we had an issue at Nationals, and I went to the range masters and I gave them that data, and they then took the data to that squad and said, here's every squad ahead of you. Here's you.
Get it together.
Why don't you guys get your act together? And they did, right? And it's a data-driven, not a personalized thing. It's not you, it's data.
Yeah, yeah. We're not attacking you because we don't like you. We're attacking you because you're slow.
So, Ken, I'm just going to jump in as questions pop up with issues that I've encountered in the past, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
So, last year I learned some lessons where I had inputted all the shooters manually into the match, into the tablet way too early. When people drop out the day before the match or a week before the match or just don't show up, when's the best time to click those 3 little buttons and hit delete? And should I unsquad them, leave them in their squad, delete them before the match, delete them after the match?
Yeah, well, it depends on if you're doing it from online. I mean, of course, when you do it online, you can withdraw them when they withdraw.
Yep.
Right. And typically what we do.
Let's say no shows.
Yeah, no shows. So what I tell people, again, it's a difference if you have traveling squads where the iPad's traveling with the squad.
And that's our
like you might
system.
at a club match.
Yeah, we give the squad a tablet and off they go.
In that case, I always tell people just DNF. Just hit the DNF button, right? And because that makes the score accounted for. If you delete somebody, you don't know if they went off and shot with another squad, right? You really don't know the true status of this individual. You don't know if they showed up late, car trouble, wife was in the hospital. You know, they come up with great reasons.
So here's a question. The people that I've deleted, like before the show tonight, I got an email saying my husband and I can't make it. So I deleted them. Can I go undelete them and then put them DNF?
You can, yeah. It's nothing's truly ever deleted in Practice Score.
Okay.
It's marked as deleted. Well, once you start scoring, nothing's deleted. There's a complete transactional log of everything you do. That's for score security, score transparency.
I noticed that because I deleted some people before the pre-match started, and they were gone. But now that the match has started, I deleted them, and they just have a red bar next to them.
Right. That means the minute you go into scoring mode, everything becomes serious.
Yeah.
At that point, and we treat it like a bank, right? So money comes in, comes out. Everything has to be transparent and visible. Because it's a distributed system, you could have like a Rocky Mountain, or let's say Blue Ridge multi-gun in Kentucky. I'll literally have an iPad 7 miles away from another iPad for stages, right? So I cannot assume that I can't assume that complete physical control of these things. I have to have very good log of what's happened, so I can recreate. So nothing ever gets deleted. Everything's recoverable, as long as you have the device.
So it's easier to do a DNF.
I think it's not just easier, but it's more accurate.
Okay.
All you know is this person didn't show up, did not fire. Right?
Yeah.
You could say did not finish, but I prefer to call it did not fire.
Okay.
Because if it did not finish, I score it as standard. I follow the rules of the match.
Yeah.
Right.
Did not
so
fire.
That's what that stands for.
Yeah, so Trevor, like we do the online registration thing, so I withdraw people from there as we go. I cut off at like 11 p.m. night before, download everything to the master. So anyone who has to no show, I kill them off the master morning of, and then morning of I sync the master to all the scoring tablets, and that way I only have to do the changes once on the master, and then the scoring tablets are more or less accurate unless someone has to like leave early because their wife is complaining or whatever.
Right. Ooh, that doesn't happen. Their husband's complaining.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a fine art. And another approach that I've seen done effectively is just to move them to squad 99. Right. So you just don't see it.
Gotcha.
And then you let the stats person deal with it. I know at our major matches, every day we review people who had no scores. We try to figure out what's happening with them. And we it's a big deal to delete them, and that's saved us a couple of times. Like we've had people whose flights were canceled, and that way we know to email them and say what's going on. They say I'm coming, and so then we can make a plan for integrating them into the match and getting them shot through. So
okay.
We're really big. I in my match director life, I call myself the yes match director. And that if you come to me with a reasonable problem, I'm going to say yes and try and sort it out.
Okay.
Versus I always default to yes versus no, and I just find that that's a happier experience for everybody.
You should try that, Trevor.
Nope.
Not
See that right away. Nope. He's not a yes man. He's definitely not a yes man.
So Ken, last year at some point, I ended up duplicating competitors somehow, and I don't know how it happened.
Well, all the competitors?
No, just the occasional competitor. And then Jim Bob was duplicated, and at the end of the match, I had scores for Jim Bob that shot some of the stages, and then the other Jim Bob had shot the other stages, but I didn't have the two Jim Bobs completely finished.
Yeah, so sometimes people add them to, again, it's a distributed device. You don't know what's happening on stage 8 if you're on stage 1. somebody added that shooter. They didn't find him in their squad or something. They added him. So as long as Jim Bob and Jim Bob are running the same division, you can merge them in the edit shooters, and they could become one. And you know, you just literally go in there and just do it. I can't even describe it because it's just a button in the one of the Jim Bobs. You merge the other one.
Okay.
And that's the same thing if you get like people with weird divisions. Like sometimes people type LTD or limited, and there's a way to just merge. You just say limited equals limit, LTD equals limited, and stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there that because the odds are if you're hitting it, I'm sure I hit it 4 years ago, right? When I was, because we have this concept of eat our own dog food.
Yeah.
Right. So my club, bless them, they see early practice score stuff.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday night. Yeah. And they're aware of it. They get a lot of benefit from it, but they also sometimes, you know, like the only scores that I'm aware of ever being lost in practice score happened on the first weekend that we ran it, when we didn't know that if you got a phone call, we'd lose scores. So we were all using borrowed devices. People get calls and then, oh, the score's gone. So that was the only one that I actually know why that it was lost and why.
Very cool. Yeah, it's a very stable platform. So maybe Trevor's kind of alluded to some of the things that he's run across. What are some of the most common issues that new users have on the Practice Score platform?
You know, I tried to get a quick rundown on that in prep. It's really all over the map, but I would say that, you know, assuming like hit factor scoring, right? The biggest issue people have is designing the stages right. Right. So if there's 23 targets or that would be a big stage. Let's say there's 23 shots. So 12 paper and 1 steel. They do 13 steel. They forget, or 13 paper, 2 steel. They design the stage incorrectly, and then they score. Right.
Yeah,
in which case it's
best,
you know,
3
trouble
hits.
in paradise.
Best 3 hits, and they don't edit the target to take 3 hits, or
they forget no shoots.
Yeah, and they forget to designate a non-penalty mic.
Yeah, exactly. Now, a lot of that we've gone through and done the deep thinking to figure out what we can change and what we can't change. Like adding a no-shoot, you can do that essentially anytime. But some stuff, like the number of hits on a target, if you've already scored people, that's just, you know, that's just not solvable. You're going to have to delete the stage, add the stage in, and then enter those scores by hand. That's why I really like to run, you know, literally go through and do pretend scores on a copy of the match, make sure everything's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely the number one issue. I think the second issue would be the doubled shooters, when people in a traveling squad match where their iPads are out, somebody walks over to shoot through because they got to leave early. They add them there and they end up twice. Stuff like that.
Oh,
so,
that's interesting, because on Saturday I actually have 2 people shooting through. So that's what's going to happen unless I give them their own tablet. Could I give them their own tablet, or should I have them
or their own squad?
No, they're not. They're shooting through.
Well, you can, but there's a way to find shooters that are in other squads. That's easy.
Mm-hmm.
So long as they're in the system, it's fine. The problem is some people don't know that, so they just add them right then and there. We've done interface changes to make that harder, like to say, hey, there's somebody by that name in the match already, but people are persistent, right? They're
Yeah, I think
that's a positive way of saying maybe something else.
I love your positive attitude there. Yeah, people are persistent.
It shouldn't be a problem, and even if it does happen, then you can just merge them later.
Yeah. Or actually, I think I misunderstood what Adriel said. Yeah, put them in their own squad.
Yeah, that can work too.
Yeah,
that's what we did for our ROs. We shoot our ROs the same days as we shoot our competitors. So we put the ROs in their own squad, so it's easy. What squad are you in? I'm in the RO squad. Oh, okay, that's easy. Right?
Yeah, and we usually use 99, squad 99. Although for like nationals, where we might have more squads than that, you know, then I'll use 999. So, yeah, you know, a little bit of prior thinking on almost anything helps a lot. And I think with Practice Score, You know, it's kind of the measure twice, cut once.
Yep.
Type
I'm glad.
attitude.
If we didn't have you on tonight, I would have been at a loss Saturday morning to figure out what to do with those two shoot-through guys, unless someone from a bigger club, bigger region would have had experience with it and stepped up.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it worked out. If in general though, I try to design the software so that, you know, unless you shoot the tablet, you should be okay.
I'm not going to say that won't happen someday, but hopefully not.
We had a club submerge a tablet in a cooler, and they forgot the coolers melt. They just laid it on top, you know, in the ice, and then forgot about it, and it sunk down to the bottom. It was completely submerged and dead. So, you know, they did lose scores because they hadn't synced prior to putting it in.
Yep.
Prior to
a little bit of common sense you have to do. The only one that I've actually seen destroyed at our club, I have about 40, just say 50 iPads, iPad minis, and we had somebody shut a truck door on it. But our club, we have Wi-Fi, so the minute you edit a score, not just create a score, but edit it, change it, add, fix the time, do whatever, that gets emailed or texted to the shooter.
Wow.
Right. So the minute you finalize the score, their phone buzzes.
Wow.
So we don't lose scores, and we also don't use the printers because emailed receipt is.
Yep.
I prefer an emailed receipt greatly over a printed one.
The rule says in IPSC specifically, the competitor must be given a record of their score. It doesn't say it has to be paper.
Yeah, I think that's a very good rule, and in some matches that could be. Take a photo of it.
Yeah, anything.
You know, whatever you got. And I'm not a fan of paper. It's not that paper has rain troubles, paper has handwriting troubles, paper has reading troubles.
Costs money.
Paper costs money. It has transcription issues. We have transportation issues. You know, I remember running matches with score runners.
Yeah.
Try that at a 9-mile separated match. I mean, paper added a lot of complexity and risk for, in my opinion, zero benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I mean,
we're doing it only because the rule says we have to.
Yeah, I think an email receipt. I mean, I do it at Home Depot or Depot. How do you say that up in Canada?
Depot. Yeah, Depot.
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 And,
Despot.
I do it at Lowe's.
Oh, that's Home Depot.
We got Lowe's.
Yeah,
why the
not
RCT train is called Depot, where you buy your hardware is called Depot. Tomato.
Yeah,
it's tomato.
So, you know, that's my view. When I did an analysis, I'm a bit of a numbers guy. So, you know, when I looked at ran area matches, big ones, ran national matches, and almost all the stats errors were related to people coming into the Stat Shack and with incorrectly done handwritten receipts. And some of those ended up in their favor when they really didn't shoot that and they were just gaming it. And some of those we had to issue reshoots because we just really didn't know what was right. Was it the tablet or was it the paper? You know, so if you're running, let's just say you do, I think we had like 24 of those the last time I actually did a large paper match. Well, 24 times 3-minute reshoot. Right. If you add 24 people into that big loop of shooters, it's a matches when you unfold squads. 24 times 3 is an hour that we had to keep competitors on the range till we could do the ARB period. Right. Just because of that one little thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't fit my work play ratio.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, one of the other things that you had mentioned a little bit earlier about checking scores and checking for zeros. At the end of a match, I'll check for zeros as well and see if we have any zeros. But the other thing I'll look at is are there any ranks that are way off? Because typically, like your top 10 shooters are going to get the top 10 scores on every single stage. So if you look at this like on a stage by stage basis, and you see someone who's in like the lower third, and they got like a first or a second or something like that on a stage, you be like, that doesn't look quite right.
Yeah.
What went on with that guy?
That's a good thing for a stats person to do. You know, we have a certain checklist that we use in our matches, similar to that. I remember at Nationals 4 years ago, we had a C shooter win a stage, and my phone blew up, you know, with people, including the president of the sport, calling me, you know, just to make sure. And I actually tracked him down, watched his stage video, talked to the CRO of the stage. The guy unleashed. He went beast mode, you know, one time in his life. But, you know, now that guy, he's got a stage win at Nationals, completely legit. You know, he's got a dinner conversation thing. Oh, yeah, I was at Nationals, won a stage. You know, just drop that.
No
So,
biggie. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's important to have a kind of a systematic thing. The Rangemaster reports that we talked about that have time, they also have green, red, and other codes to indicate the completeness.
You know, I think actually my favorite feature of PractiScore is when you get that warning that says your time looks suspicious, but it's actually correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. We had that happen twice in the pre-match. Unfortunately, not to me, but didn't do them any good anyway. I beat them, but whatever.
No, that's important at all.
No.
That's better than your time is abnormally long.
Yeah, that would be soul
It's
crushing.
also occasionally, yeah.
You need a
pops
coach.
See, like the Hard as Hell match I run, where we have a 5-minute timeout on stages, you know, we have to set that. Make sure to remember to set that, or it'll just turn on all the time.
You guys have a 5-minute par time. You guys are bless your hearts. You guys are so nice.
I give the people what they want. You know,
Yeah.
the match fills up. People love a challenge. You know, I wouldn't want to do it every week, but you know, once or twice a year, getting out there and getting your inner ranger on, you know, that's fun.
Yeah, the Hard as Hell videos are inspiration for a lot of our stages.
Right on. Good. Yeah,
Ken?
my son designs most of those. Yes?
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead and finish.
No, it's cool.
Oh, okay. So what was the first scoring, practical sport that PractiScore was used for? Was it IDPA or USPSA?
Definitely USPSA.
Okay, so it started with USPSA, and then it spread to IDPA and IPSC. And what are all the different practical shooting sports that you can currently score using PractiScore?
Wow, there are a lot. I think PractiScore is actually.
Or how
sort
about
of
a number
enabled-
rather than try and name them all? What about a number?
There's got to be 35 or 40 different kinds.
Wow, amazing.
We have essentially 100% market share in USPSA, probably 75 or 80% in IDPA, although it's been a while since I checked that. I think it's up. Essentially 100% in multi-gun. IPSC is not as broad, but it's growing. And for the level 1 through 3s, right? Still not approved for 4 and 5, although we're working. I think,
Really?
Actually, no, it is. It is. We worked through that at SHOT Show. I forgot about that. So that can all be done. We also do NRA sports, right? So
Cool.
you know, you can go out and shoot your F class. We do shotgun. Right now, I've got staff that have visited every NRA major match, like Camp Perry and so forth, to work with their stats people to get an understanding of how their game goes. Because for practical shooting, they had me, you know, guy out doing it.
Yep.
But I'm not really that involved in that sport. So, but we're committed. Basically, if you shoot and score, right? If you keep score, we're probably going to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're sport agnostic.
Yeah. Cool.
It's terrific that you're running, that you're shooting, and trying to get better by keeping score. That's good for everybody.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Ken, I think we've barely scratched the surface here. I don't want to take any more of your time here. We're at right around 45 minutes, but
Okay.
It's been super interesting. I think we got to get you back on and talk about Hard as Hell, maybe the Tactical Performance Center. There's we've only touched like a little bit of all that is that's Ken Nelson.
Maybe cover the wedding.
On another show. This is a gun show. Are there going to be guns?
Is it a shotgun wedding?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. No, you know, it's been a pleasure, and you just shoot me a note. I forget sometimes how much I enjoy talking about this stuff. So this has been very enjoyable for me, and I look forward to doing it again.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Ken.
You're very welcome. Good talking with all of you.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks.
And that's
Kitty cat.
the radio goodbye.
That's the radio. Yeah.
Oh, Steve. He was up here tormenting me for 10 minutes, Matthew,
Yeah,
but he never
and now
made it
he's
on.
here.
No.
Hey, Steve,
Okay.
say hi to the internet. Hello.
Hi. Well, thanks, guys. That was fun. Yeah, I'm happy to
awesome.
come on and talk about this. Anything you want. So
Awesome. Yeah. No, it was our pleasure, Ken. Really
I
great.
don't want to jinx it, but every podcast I've ever been on has been that host's highest rated one.
Oh, well. Good luck
Right.
with that on this one.
Stoger.
We don't have any highest rated ones.
I'm 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
2 on that. So,
So if you
this is
talk
the
to
third
Ben, you'll talk to
podcast.
anybody. So that's good.
now the good questions. It's nice to get into the technical part. I mean, I feel like I'm helping.
Oh, you definitely
You
are.
are. Yeah. this is self-serving, Ken. We're answering our problems right now.
And I've got a
Excellent.
guy in my club who has been emailing PractiScore for the last couple of weeks because I was gone and he was running things. So he just skipped over me, went right to the source. And his question yesterday was about applying additional penalties because he had to take
Great master penalties.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Range master penalties. Yeah. Because he's missing some fingers and stuff, and it was a weekend stage and he can't really do it. So we didn't know how to apply those penalties in the tablet. Now, I didn't exactly look too hard either at the bottom. I knew the range
Says
master.
Says right there, additional penalties.
Yeah.
Type it in, and then I think it pops up and says, "Did the range master okay this?"
Nice.
And then you're good to go.
And that's the other thing I love about how PractiScore has cleaned up our owing, because I've been given arbitrational BS penalties in the past where, it's like, you can't just give me a procedural if you can't attach a rule to it. And now that we're running PractiScore, you're not getting away with that crap anymore. I've literally had ROs say, I'm not sure what the rule is, but I'm pretty sure you can't do that. Well, that doesn't fly. It never should have been accepted.
Yeah.
Now it's like, if you can't find it in the tablet, it doesn't exist. Go away.
No, that when I train ROs, and we run a USPSA and an RO class seminar, but then we have another weekend where we actually train them to run matches the way we run them. And I say you have to call what you saw against a rule you can point at in the book.
That's it. Black and white.
Yeah.
That's it right there. That's the first thing I say to them on the first morning. And if you do that, everything's okay, and you have a happy match.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I know CRPS. We have a Canadian rimfire, like long-range rimfire shoot. They use it. I don't know if Maple Seed uses it, but they should, because there's a lot of calculation you got to do with those scores.
Yeah, we support it.
Yeah.
I'm sure we support it. If we don't, we'll do it. I mean,
They just need to tell you how to put the scores in.
oh, the variant of that. So you do what you saw against the rules we're using today.
Right.
Because on Tuesday we use a different rule, and on Saturday we use a different one.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine shooting more than one shooting discipline, because hard enough keeping track of the IPSC rules.
Well, we do shoot 3. We shoot multi-gun and we shoot Steel Challenge.
Yeah.
Finding Steel Challenge in the PractiScore app was another godsend. Like last year we did it. I think we did it on paper. This year we scored it in the tablet. And the stage descriptions are there. The drawings of the stage description are there. The detailed ones for the multiple boxes are there. It's just amazing.
Yeah, we ran what was it? Well, the one that used to be in Pyru, the World Championships. We ran that at my range one year, so we made sure to do it right. But at my range, we run 16 different matches a month, and in about 5 different disciplines. Right. So yeah, I mean, we have to be very specific about what rule book we're using today.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I think we've got to get on to the rest of the show. But Ken, definitely, we'll have to get you back on to. I want to know about Hard as Hell, and I want to steal your ideas. So we're gonna have you on again for that.
I'm an open book. Good talking with you guys.
Sweet.
Thanks, Ken.
Do I just click the X button here? Or?
Yeah.
Let me just kill it.
All right. Hang up or.
Bye bye.
See ya.
But
all right, let's get on to the rest of the show here. Trevor, you're gonna host.
Yep. Stand by.
I was like, he's like, you mean now? Should I host now?
No time like the present.
All right, still dealing with match correspondence. It's continually coming in as we're a couple of days away.
You should use the Practice Score registration online, and you wouldn't have to deal with this stuff.
I certainly will. I learned to use it after I opened up registration for SummerSlam, so it was too late.
You could have just sent everyone there and told them to re-register.
Hold on, I need a reason why Kelly's not here. Let me just go to the bottom here.
Mm-hmm.
Did the? Okay, I got it.
Okay,
that's unfortunate that had to happen to her, but it is what it is. Ready? Ready?
Yes. Are you ready? Stand by. You don't friggin' answer. If we don't answer, it means we're ready.
Hello. I jumped the start signal.
You jumped it.
Hello and welcome to episode 266 of Slamfire Radio for August 2nd, 2018. I am one of your hosts, Trevor the Filate.
I'm another one of your hosts, Matthew the McClatchy.
And Warning Shot. Your nickname is Warning Shot.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while. I forgot.
Yeah, sorry.
Who was that third guy that came on?
Adriel the Frosty.
Adriel the Frosty.
Adriel the Frosty. That works.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Well, it's been a while, gentlemen. Matthew and I, last time we were both on was... Did we do a show out west?
Yes.
No, we tried.
Wait, no.
We tried.
We failed.
We were gonna.
Adriel broke his mic, let the listeners down.
Adriel's fault.
Didn't like him to start with. Yeah.
No, there you go. There you go.
Well, perfect. Works out then. If it weren't for those listeners, this would be a great show.
Yeah. Yeah. So last time the three of us were on together and Kelly was back at my house for the charity shoot. Which
like a year ago?
No, like July 9th.
Oh, you mean like this charity shoot?
Yeah, the one that just went by, the 8th annual Podcart charity shoot.
The Podcart, yes.
Yeah.
It was a great show.
Yeah. So, well, Matthew, speaking of the charity shoot, why don't you tell us what you've been up to since the Podcart charity shoot?
I don't.
Whoa! Who sponsors the intro to what we didn't get?
Oh my goodness!
It's been a while since you've been away.
Yep, I am. Just I don't know. I'm just bad, man. What we did this week in guns is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer. They have a whole bunch of new stuff in stock, but specifically they got some Swiss K11s, and they are selling them at $549. All kinds of new stuff came in. Jeff was telling me about, and I wouldn't mind having me one of these Swiss K11s now that I'm doing the whole Milsurp thing. But yeah, so don't be a communist. Buy a Swiss rifle.
They will go up. K11s or K31s will be worth more than 500. Like, what do they go for in the U.S. right now? 800?
Something silly.
More because they're just not making that many. They didn't make it that many to start with, and there's not that many out there that aren't molested somehow.
Well, that's that one with that ring thing on the back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it bolt action?
Straight pull bolt action.
Straight pull bolt. Interesting.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're really accurate. The ammo that was made for them, like the Milsurp ammo, is considered match grade ammo. It's
What caliber are they?
11.
It's 7.5
by 55.
That's it.
Okay, cool.
It's 7.62. It's 30 cal, but
by 55.
It's like Trevor mentioned, the Milsurp stuff that you can buy for it is excellent. Oh, when wholesale was going out of business, they were selling that stuff for like super duper cheap.
Oh no, really?
I didn't buy any. I should have. I didn't need
so
it.
Sweet. Yeah, it's got some stank on it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's got some snap.
Cool. Sounds fun.
So what have you been up to, dude?
I don't know.
Well, you were here for the charity shoot.
What did I do then?
Well, you shot some stuff. You won some things.
Since the charity shoot, like.
Well, why don't you talk about the charity shoot?
Oh, we could do that. So I won the silhouette. I don't think very many people were surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we shot silhouette and we shot some trap. I didn't do very well in trap. And then
because you're a capable trap shooter. And
I used to was. I'm not anymore. It's been so long since I've shot trap that I can't remember what to even do. And I was using your gun, which I haven't really even shot before. But the charity shoot itself was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people come out. had a good time meeting old friends and making new friends, and yeah, it was a good time. Did you want like more details on the charity shoot itself, or are we gonna talk
Whatever
about
you.
that later?
Well, I'm going to give a synopsis on my end as
okay.
Matt's director, but you go ahead and say whatever you like, and
That's pretty much it.
that's pretty much it.
All I have to say about that. No, it was a fun time. I enjoyed myself like I always do. Aside from the car not working properly and having to, get people to, boost my car and then buy a new battery. And thanks to
that was minor.
Yeah,
And he had many hands.
To David. David to the rescue. Didn't David scoop you up?
Yeah, David scooped me up, and then I, of course, gave him the Matthews Award, Matthews Choice Award for helping me out with my truck. So that was cool.
Yeah, fine service in the mechanical areas.
Yep. So yeah, that was the charity shoot. I guess good times had by all.
Right. Then what?
What happened after the charity shoot?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
You went somewhere.
Alberta.
Oh, we went to Alberta, I guess. So there was that. We put on the Ferlacci course, 2 days. Again, we're back at Rafter 5, Rafter 5B, Rafter 5.
Rafter 5B, yep.
Yeah. And Brad's range there. Amazing range. Love that range. Except for the hill. Trevor got to experience another hill while we were there.
The sound booth wasn't that good either. The acoustics in the sound booth were just...
Yeah, the sound booth was... Thanks, Tom.
Oh yeah, the trailer. That was great. Yeah, no, that wasn't fun. Well, it was. Well, anyway. So yeah, it was really fun. Again, new faces and old faces, which was awesome. It's always a good time out in Alberta. I did not get to shoot any gophers though, unfortunately. You shut up. And yeah, no, maybe next year. We can, we got to get on Frosty now to kind of line up some fields for us, maybe to kind of figure that out.
Well, my region will change because we're changing where we're not going to shoot east. We're going to shoot center Alberta, center north.
All right. So what does that mean? Does that mean more gophers or less gophers?
Well, gophers.
Okay.
Yeah,
there will be gophers though?
Probably.
Well...
We should have a contest.
Okay. Yeah. Wait. Why are you coming up with a contest? That doesn't make any sense. You're not competitive at all.
No, listen. This is for the listeners. We should come up with a contest and invite one lucky listener to come gopher hunting with us.
All right. Let's do it. What should the contest be? Who can write an email that even Trevor can read?
Where's our new logo?
Oh.
We asked for a new logo, and we only have one submission. So
they got a month left.
No, they got like 27 days or 28 days.
Yeah, that's pretty close. We could probably round that up to 30. We could call that a month.
So we already have a prize for that contest. So we'll work out the details, but I think that's a great idea. What do you think, Adriel?
I concur.
All right.
I concur.
We're going to take one lucky listener gopher shooting with us.
I like it. Let's do that.
All right, and it has to be Yolanda.
Well, there you go. We have a winner. We have a winner, folks. Here we are.
Does she supply the gopher field? Because that's easy then.
Yeah. Well, Yolanda, we're coming over for barbecue, beer, and gopher shooting.
I believe there's gophers in that area.
There's gotta be.
Yeah.
So gophers. So didn't shoot any gophers. All that to say, I did not shoot any gophers, but we did shoot the class, and the class was a fun class, and is that all I did? Then this?
Then this. Now where are you? What are you doing?
Now I'm at Trevor's.
I think you're tired. I feel like you're tired.
How could you tell?
Because you can't put a sentence together?
No, been a while. So since a lot of sleep. I had a kid. Everybody knows that though, right? So
yeah, that's old news.
So I'm just trying to explain why I haven't had much sleep.
Sold your house. Now you need to buy a new one.
Sold the house. Yeah, in the process of buying a new one. So lots of stress levels there. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm at Trevor. So I'm in Campbellton. We shot the pre-match yesterday and today, and I was here the day before as well, and the day before that, I guess.
Monday. You arrived Monday.
I don't know what day it is. So
it is
Thursday. So we, set up all the targets, set up the range, did a bunch of paperwork.
Which we're not done.
Which yeah. So Yeah, we're basically in the middle now of SummerSlam. We're putting on a level 3 IPSC match, and we're just getting ready to tomorrow. We go out and retarget to put fresh targets up. We're using wax targets this year. You talked about this yet, Trev?
Nope.
So the IPSC targets are made out of cardboard, and when it rains, it sucks. So you got to put like these dry cleaner bags on them so that the targets don't get all soggy and the patches don't fall off and stuff. And it's harder to see the targets. You got to shoot through the bags. You get soaked. It's terrible. Who was it that came up with the wax target thing?
Well, we're getting them in Canada from Freedom Ventures, but I think they started in Europe, but I'm not 100% on that.
All right. So so the targets are just coated in a wax front and back, and you can leave them out in the rain. Now, it's cardboard, and so the center isn't coated, of course, because it's in the center. So they will still deteriorate over time, but for the most part, it can rain. You don't need to bag the targets, and the patches still. Ouch! Cat just bit me, and this patches still stick to the targets when you're out. So no more bags while we're shooting, which is going to be amazing. We actually had rain on the range today while we were shooting and shot targets in the rain with no bags, and they work great. They're amazing. I love them. It's fantastic. We should do it all the time.
And we will at major matches.
Yep.
Oh, you guys just reminded me. So I'm just texting one of the other guys in my club here. We got to get some of those targets.
They're great.
Yeah,
Yep.
Not every time, but like when it's like might rain today, just stick
them out.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, they're twice as much, but I mean that's worth it. Definitely.
Cardboard targets are not a major expense.
They really aren't.
Twice the cost. We're still going to be fine.
That's right. Yep. So yeah, shot SummerSlam, had a fun time. The pre-match was pretty good. All the guys on the squad except for Trevor were amazing. They were all sort of on their game and showed up when they were supposed to. Never held us back. Always patching and helping out. And yeah, it was great. Good time shooting with all of them except Trevor. So it was good. I've been giving him a hard time ever since I got here. It just doesn't quit.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong in some of the things that you just said. So, all right, that it for you?
I guess so. Whatever. Move on. Who's next? You?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so my take on the podcast charity shoot. This was the 8th annual Podcart. Oh, yeah, I want to show that to everybody. So,
and any of you who are listening tomorrow, he's holding up a plaque that says the 8th annual Canadian Podcart 2018 Network Charity Shoot. Yeah. They put an R instead of an S.
Man alive. I don't know. So anyway, luckily it's not on me. I pulled out the screenshot of the Facebook message to the trophy lady showing exactly what should appear on the plaque, and it says podcast, not Podcart. So, but anyway, it was in my opinion, of course, because I was the one organizing this, boots on the ground here. I'm really almost mortified and embarrassed by it. And I think it's
hilarious. It's a great talking point.
Well, anyway. So more importantly than a spelling mistake on a plaque is the fact that the listeners, the people who came to the event, CCFR members, all came together to raise a whopping $7,000. By the time the event started, we had $3,000 raised before we opened up the gate at the range. We made $6,750 at the range. And then later on that night, we raised another it wasn't 6,700. It was 6,500 something. The picture of the check is online somewhere. Anyway, I think we're around the $6,500 mark. And that night, Gallon decided, Gallon was supposed to attend the Ferlacci class. So for those that are just getting caught up here, we did a Ferlacci class on Thursday, donated all the money to charity. There was a Maple Seed on Friday, and they donated a portion of the profits to charity. And then the charity shoot on Saturday. Gallon was supposed to attend our Ferlacci class, and he bailed at the last minute, costing us $100, or costing the charity $100, because we were only charging $100 for this event because it was in our backyard and we had no expenses. So Gallon, to make up for it, said, I tell you what we'll do. I've got a can of bear spray. we'll raffle it off. We'll do something, and the winner will spray me in the face. So for the prize table at the charity event, you paid $20. You got 10 tickets, and you put the 50-50 ticket in the container in front of the prize you wanted to win. And so we did the same thing for Gallon at the party at my house, post charity shoot party. We raised an additional $250, and Alantario, one of Rushigush's members, won and pepper sprayed him in the face. It was amazing. We Facebooked it live.
He did not hold back. He
no.
sprayed until there was no more spray in that thing, right at the face.
Yep. And Gallon took it like a man.
Oh, did he ever?
Yep. Oh, and Matthew ended up getting some accidentally. So Gallon was wearing a garbage bag, and Matthew led Gallon up the stairs and into the bathroom so he could shower, and he had his hands on the garbage bag. And then later he took off his contacts, and then the next morning he put his contacts in.
They burned.
Yeah.
I left them in though. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but there was definitely some residual burning for a while until they flushed themselves out. But yeah, they're probably not nearly as bad as what Gallon experienced. Although I'm going to claim that it was, just to
man up.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, the event was a lot of fun. There was a lot of people who were coming and going in my house over the course of the weekend. A lot of people came to the event. I just, a couple of, there's mistakes were made, lessons were learned as far as I'm concerned. People that just showed up and shot, whatever, they enjoyed it. I certainly learned a little bit about my managerial skills and my organizational skills. Basically it took too long. It took way too long to get through the day. I really wanted to avoid a situation where people were shooting. And if I had planned and organized the groups better, that would have been a thing that would have happened. I should have divided people into two groups and had one group shooting one event and then swap. The trap couldn't be shot while the Steel Challenge was being shot, but the Silhouette and the Steel Challenge could have been shot simultaneously, and I should have did that. And
you didn't realize how many people were going to do Steel Challenge, though. It was supposed to be like, probably a dozen or so will do it, and it turned out to be what, 40 or something?
Everyone but one.
It was everybody shot it, and so it was like, holy crap! Well, here, let's make 3 squads, and let's friggin' you start here, and we'll start here, and off we go. And it ate up the day, but it was fun though. I think everybody had a good time. It's just that, because it ate up so much time, then Trap ended up eating up a bunch of time, and then it just, I guess we're not getting to some of the stuff we had planned.
Yeah, and people got tired of waiting around for the awards and stuff. And so anyway,
we'll make it better next time. That's how we learn.
Yep. So the next year's charity shoot, there's some announcements. A host podcast has been selected. We're not going to say who yet because we actually announced it on their show, the host and myself. It will be held in Edmonton, Alberta, with Adriel. And Adriel, has your club come on board yet officially?
Yeah, they're game.
Excellent.
I need to get a date and get approval and all that kind of stuff. But I will be to them and their game.
The date will have to be the same as last year, or it's 2018. So it'll be Saturday, July 6th or Saturday, July 8th, whatever that is. And the charity is yet to be selected.
6th.
So it'll be Saturday, July 6th, 2019. It'll be at the Chaz Gun Club. And the host will be announced soon. What else? Yeah, more on that later. So after the charity shoot, I went to Calgary and hung out with Jeff Reese from the Calgary Shooting Center. I got to go to the Calgary Shooting Center. I got to test fire the SLR, which was awesome. And then I got to shoot gophers. Matthew didn't. I did. That was awesome.
Can I hang up on you on this thing?
No, actually you can't.
I can, actually. How do I do that?
Then I went to Edmonton with Matthew and Adriel. We had a really horrible pub night. Only 3 people showed up, so that was bad. So to the 3 people...
It was a polar opposite of the year before. The year before, it's like, 12 people are going to show up, and like 25, 30 people showed up.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
Yeah, and actually, somebody I worked with all this year, she actually happened to be in town, so her and her husband came to join us. Thank goodness, because for a while they were the only ones. And then 2 other listeners showed up, and then a 3rd listener showed up just as we were paying our bills. So And then, of course, the Ferlacci Fundamentals Beyond Fundamentals happened. Matthew talked about that. I enjoyed it very much. It was a lot of fun. And then I went to Vancouver. And when I was in Vancouver, I met up with Dustin. Now, Dustin was a guest on our show a couple of months back. He's a prop master in Vancouver. So he talked to us about his experience in the film industry and firearms. And I also met up with Rod. So Dustin and Rod and I went shooting at the Abbotsford Club for a little while. And later on in the week, I went back to Chilliwack to hook up with Rod and the cameraman for the CCFR TV show. And we went out to tour International Barrels and got to meet Ryan Stacy. That place is legit off the hook. It is the real deal. A lot of money has been poured into this place so that they can make world-class match-grade barrels.
Oh, have you guys Matthew, have you seen their YouTube video? They've got a video where they like go through like their barrel making process. It's crazy.
It
Nice.
is.
I should watch that.
Yeah.
It is. They're doing stuff that other people aren't doing to make sure that the finish of the barrel is just as high quality as it can possibly be. It was really awesome. And Ryan Stacy, like you hear him on podcasts and stuff, and you think he's cool then, and you meet him in person, and he is also legit really cool, awesome guy. So he's going to be making for me a 7.62 by 40 WT to go into my SLR. He's also making me an AR-10 barrel to go on the Stag that I have on order at the Calgary Shooting Center. So for those listeners that don't know, Stag has come out with an AR-10 that was given a non-restricted FRT number. So that's cool. And then, yes, SummerSlam pre-match is going on with Matthew. Today was a lot better than yesterday, both energy-wise and shooting-wise. I was sick in Edmonton and sick with a head cold the whole time I was in Vancouver. And I got home and I was like trying to adjust the 4-hour time difference. So I was going to bed at night, Vancouver time, and waking up in New Brunswick time. That was making for a really long couple of days. Got in on Sunday and got right back to work on the range on Saturday, or on Monday rather. And then pre-match started Tuesday. Matthew came over right away on Monday. We got to work on the range. We shot pre-match Tuesday, finished the pre-match today. Bunch of our IPSC shooting buddies from Nova Scotia came up. Captain Andy and Stephen Casey. Ginger Snaps was supposed to be there. Ginger Snaps, if you're listening, give me an update on that thing you told me about. There's a reason why he had to bail at the very, very last minute. And it's a little concerning. I haven't had time to touch base with him, so I hope all is well. And Don, you could have came. What's your problem? Really, though?
Yeah,
dude?
Don.
Right?
Come on, man.
God, slacker.
No excuse.
Probably doesn't even listen, so whatever.
Probably. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, and then on Monday, so I'm at the range. I'm like, guys, I got to leave at 4 o'clock. I got some other errands to do. And I did. Like, right, we had legit things to do, right, Matthew? We went and we needed baggies for the chronograph stage, and we needed some ink for the printer. And we also need to go pick this up. So for the listeners who are not watching live, I am holding in my hands, in front of the camera, my SLR. That's right. My SLR arrived on Monday. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I got mine on Monday.
Oh, throw it in their face. I don't know about you guys, but I got mine on Monday.
I got mine on Monday. Did you get yours? Adriel, where's your 180?
Oh,
Here's my SLR, Adriel. The SLR you said would never come. I know it looks like I'm giving you the finger the way I'm holding it, but it just happens to be how I'm holding it.
It's just a coincidence.
It's a coincidence. Yeah, man. So up front, I'm rocking the Maple Ridge straight fluted barrel with the Maple Ridge handguard and a Maple Ridge flash hider, which is soon coming off for a comp that's being sent to me to test and evaluate. More on that later. Up top, I've got a Vortex Strike Eagle 1-8, and then some Magpul furniture, Daniel Defense lower parts kit. Phase 5 full auto bolt carrier group. And then here is a big scratch. Can you see that, Adriel? Is it showing up on my camera?
Oh, yeah. I can see it good.
Brand new rifle, and I gouged the side of the receiver. Oh, man. I'm not sure if I grabbed the pin out of the bolt stop pin to hold it in the receiver, either from my Daniel Defense or another lower parts kit. Anyway, it was a little too big, so it wasn't going into the receiver very well. So I take it out, and then I put the roll pin punch in there to open the hole up a little bit and, clear out the anodizing. And then when I pull the roll pin punch out, right down the side of the receiver. Yeah, but you know what? I don't care. This is going to be a 3-gun rifle. It's going to be a hunting rifle. It's going to get a lot more scratched up than this. I didn't buy a Cadillac. I bought a hunting rifle. So
it's going to get scratched up. It's going to yeah, whatever. A couple of dings, no big deal.
Don't even care. Don't even care. The scratch is not going to affect it. So, you know, first impressions, it's amazing. It's an AR, right? Like it's not an AR, but it's an AR. There are actually some features of this design that are an improvement upon the AR. There's zero play in the upper and lower. The way they designed it, it's on rails. So it's got a takedown screw in the front here. And so the screw is an Allen screw. You screw it into a Healy coil that's into the upper receiver. And then there's a little set screw there to lock it in place. When you loosen that screw, then the top and lower halves pull apart. They're on rails. Because they're on rails, it's so super tight. There's no play.
So I think the listeners probably want a stress test of some kind. Can you just drop it down the stairs that you have over there, and let's just see how tight they are after you drop them down?
He did. He dropped the gun on the floor. The cats on the bed here all just took off.
How about that?
I was just joking, but thank you for
everything seems fine.
Very expensive rifle on the ground.
Everything. Yeah, well, my Vortex scope has like whatever warranty. It doesn't even matter. And yeah, so the only thing that was damaged was the floor. I took a gouge out of the floor, but that's fine.
These things happen.
Yeah, these things happen. So anyway, the Maple Ridge stuff is, you know, to look at it and say, oh, it's awesome. Before I shot it, I was apprehensive. Yes, it looks awesome. The quality is amazing. The fit and finish is amazing. I took it out to the range, and off the box of my truck, 50 meters-ish, we never really measured it. Could have been more. I don't know. It certainly wasn't less. After about 4 shots, I found the center of the target. I never had to touch the windage on the scope once. I just played with elevation, and I put 3 shots inside of an inch off the back of the truck with like little to no support. So when I find a load that this thing really likes, it's a 1 in 8 twist barrel. I might try some 77s. I don't know. But right now it's shooting 55s great. But like when it comes to hunting, I will, you know, try and develop a nice load that's super duper accurate and really see what I can get out of this barrel.
Like that 65 grain soft point or something.
Yeah, well, right now, a lot of my match ammo is reloaded using 55 grain soft points. They were sent to me by mistake when I was supposed to get full metal jackets, but whatever, I use them anyway. So yeah, Maccabee Defense, man, it's awesome. Get yours from the Calgary Shooting Center today, and you will
get
not
in line to get yours from the
get in line to get yours. And Maple Ridge guys, yeah, it's nice stuff. No, I haven't weighed it yet. But compared to my 3-gun rifle, even though this has this long flash hider and an 18.6-inch barrel, the overall length of this rifle is actually shorter than my current 3-gun rifle, and it has a 18-inch barrel, but it's got a crazy competition comp on there. It's got a Benny Hill 3-port comp that is just ridiculous and like 3 inches long, so it adds a lot of length to that rifle. But anyway, it's like a pound or more lighter than my 3-gun rifle. So I'm going to start ripping the competition parts from my 3-gun rifle and throw them in my SLR.
Why not? I mean, it's non-restricted now. You don't need multiples. Do you have an Allen key? Would we be able to see like you taking that off there and see the rails? Yeah.
Come on, Doug. Find the Allen key there.
My name is not Doug.
You know, while you dig that Allen key out, maybe I should tell the story of Doug.
Do you have to?
I should.
We were buying match-related stuff, so.
What's that?
We were buying match-related stuff.
Before you tell the Doug
story, hold on. Adriel, I keep the Allen keys for the takedown procedure in the grip of my Magpul stock.
Totally
so they're
makes
always
sense.
with the gun.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, an AR, you have a quick takedown. This, you have to have the tools with you if you want to take it down when you're at the range or something. So, it works out perfectly. Anyway, we were buying ink and stuff at the local
office supply store. And I don't know how it came up, but these things come up. And
Trevor was there, and she was putting his name down on the receipt, and she said, "Did I get your name right?" And he looked at it and says, "Nope, my name's not Doug." So first, I mean, this lady knows him, so it was just kind of funny that she thought he was Doug when clearly he's Trevor. So anyway, and it came up somehow one way or another, and they started guessing each other's age. So he said, "Okay, come on, how old do you think I am?" And she said 57. Trevor's not 57.
No, Trevor's nowhere near 57. And it wasn't even like she just looked at me and said 57. She was like 57?
I was thinking, like, if she goes 51, I'm like, okay, sure, but no, 7. So I'm calling him Senior Doug.
El Senior Doug.
Yeah.
All right, so
Trevor has it disassembled for those of you who are watching, and those of you who aren't, you'll have to log on and watch.
So Adriel, there's the screw. It's just a button head Allen key screw. Right? So once that screw is removed, you drop the hammer, and watch this. That's it.
Ah, rails.
And then to reassemble,
it's easier when you're not on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really.
I broke my AR.
So look, it's just like that. Then you drop it back in, push together.
There you go. Yeah.
Right there. Push it together. It's just, look, it's literally like there's nothing to it. It's that easy. You line the notches up, push it back together.
Cool.
It is simple. If anyone whines about that, well, no.
Well, you can see how that would reduce the upper and lower wiggle, because it's like they're machined on rails there. Once you screw it down, it's not moving anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't move a bit. It is locked up tight.
You don't have to worry about, well, how much do I torque this screw? Is it going to affect accuracy? It's not like action screws in a stock. The rails keep it together in a positive position, and there's no, worrying about anything else. That's it. Just tighten it down. And then there's a small Torx, and that is for the lock screw to make sure that screw doesn't come out.
Sweet.
Yeah. And if you don't plan on taking it apart very often, go ahead, throw a little blue Loctite on there, something removable.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But don't do that, because you'll have to take it out to clean your bolt off anyways.
Yeah.
Well,
the blue Loctite, I think, should go on the trigger. There's a screw for the trigger group on the inside.
I don't think that can go anywhere once the two halves are put together.
Oh, that's probably true. That screw probably is being held down by the other part of the gun, isn't it?
Yep.
The upper. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, that's not going to go anywhere either. Yeah, the trigger group. Well, I think everybody knows how the trigger assembly works, but
no, I don't think so. Nope, the trigger group. Yeah, so it takes AR trigger groups that work with the 2 pins, and there's a box that goes inside the receiver. You install your 2 trigger pins, your hammer, and your trigger sear into that box using your 2 pins, and then that unit then drops into the lower receiver and is held in place with 1 little screw, and you are done.
Neat.
Yep. So Monday, the plan is because right now we're finding that it's kind of mag sensitive or mag picky. So I've got a bunch of different versions of LAR mags.
I don't think it's going to stay picky until you wear out the anodizing on the inside of the magwell. The magwell is just a little tight from the anodizing, I think. You could probably even take some emery cloth and clean that out a little bit, and it would probably open it up just enough to get those mags to drop out nice and reliably.
Yep, and seat. Some of them don't want to seat, but I think that's an LAR.
Well, I mean, you had some duct tape wrapped around them. The magwell must extend a little bit further than your other AR.
Yeah.
Possibly, and that could be why the tape's hanging up in there.
So Monday we're going to go to the range and with every AR mag I own and see which ones work and which ones don't, and then correct things as we go. Adriel, what about you? What have you been up to?
Oh, a couple things. I bought this guy right here, and for the listeners, yes, this is a plus size SKS, if you will. Big boy SKS. This is an SVT 40, and it's one of the 6 gil guys, and it has an SVT stock. Last time I reviewed one of these was 4+ years ago, so I am going to re-review this guy, put a new video out, because my last one was like, yeah, we're getting these things in Canada for about $250. So here's the pros and cons at that price point. And the price point is quite different now. And
Yes.
probably some of our listeners are just screaming at the at the show right now. How come you didn't buy like 3? But yeah, I got this guy here. It's very clean. Lots of Cosmos still on it. All the internal parts were still all caked with Cosmoline. So super minty SVT here. And I actually bought not 1 but 2 jogging strollers. This is gun related. My kids are way too old to fit in a jogging stroller. But again, for the viewers out there, there's my my beautiful jogging stroller in the back.
That
there.
is a nice one. You got lots of space on that.
Mm-hmm. So just to describe people for the podcast, the idea here is if you go to a 3-gun match, at Chaz, you leave your stuff in your car, your truck, or whatever, right? Lots of room for it. There's lots of parking at each of the stages. You don't need to go back and forth, and it's not very long. I'm going to BC on Friday here. I'm going with Chad, who's called into this show, and one of the guys from my 3-gun club, and we're not in the same squad, so I'm not going to have that truck that's going to have all my stuff in it. So I need to be able to have it portable. Some matches you go to, you will not be able to go back and forth between your truck and the stage, so you need to keep everything on you. In IPSC, this isn't a big deal. You carry your pistol on your holster, you carry all your mags on your belt, and maybe like a little bag with your ammo in it and some water and stuff, and you're good to go, right? For 3-gun, you've got your rifle, your shotgun, your ammo for your rifle, shotgun, and pistol, your pistol on your belt. You've got your sunblock, your mosquito spray, your food, your water, and it's just too much to carry stage to stage. And it's kind of unsafe as well. You put all your guns in one case, and then you get to the safe area, and you uncase, and you bring them out, and you put them on the rack. And you do that times like 6 or 7 or 8 stages.
Slows everything
in the butt.
down.
Yeah.
My range is one of those ranges where you need the redneck stroller.
Yeah. Now, the idea is with the redneck stroller, you get one of these jogging strollers that has like 3 wheels on it. They're easy wheeling, and they handle the weight quite a bit better. You run your guns pointing down into the ground. You still run a chamber flag on them, so it's like very obvious that they're safe, and they carry all your stuff, and you like very nicely stroll in between your stages. It's kind of like a golf cart, right? Your golf cart's like, well, what kind of clubs should I use on this stage here? My shotgun, my rifle, and my pistol. So kind of ends up being one of those. So all you do is you go on Kijiji, you look for someone who's selling their jogging strollers for like $50, and you show up and you're like, the best I can do is 40. And you leave with a jogging stroller. You rip out the seat, you put on your gun bag, and whichever way you want to there, and that's now your mode of transportation for all your guns. And the advantage with this as well is you can carry more stuff. You can carry an umbrella, you can carry lots of water, you can carry your food, all that kind of stuff goes with you. You don't need to go back to your truck for the day. It's self-contained. Let's see. I wrote an article on why you should join the CCFR. It's been well overdue, and I finally did one of them. Let's see here. I did talk to some of the guys from the range, and so far things are looking good for the charity shoot. I do need to get like more information to them on when I'd like to book the range for, and kind of some of the arrangement around that. So I'm still working on that. And then I wanted to ask you guys, and maybe some of our listeners, because I don't know how much you guys are into air guns. What kind of air gun would you recommend for pests? Something that would definitely kill like a squirrel or a magpie or something like that. Something that's
a Gammo
convenient to use.
Do you care about semi-auto ability? That's a word.
No.
Okay, so you want to get a Crosman 2240 is what you're looking for.
Oh, you want a handgun recommendation or a rifle?
Either would be fine.
Well, the handgun's really cool and very accurate. I have one. I've hunted with it successfully in New Brunswick, snowshoe hare, grouse. What else?
I believe is that the one with the very thin barrel on top that you kind of crank over to
No,
load?
that's a good one too, though. That one doesn't require CO2. The one that I have has a CO2 cartridge that goes in underneath the barrel. Very inexpensive. They're less than $100 and extremely accurate, very customizable. It's one of the most popular CO2 powered pellet pistols in the world, really.
And you're under 500 FPS?
Oh yes, yep.
Well-
It's I chronographed mine at 460 is what my 22 caliber pellets are coming out of it at.
Is
So
that? Go ahead,
Go ahead.
sir. Adriel,
No,
is that a requirement for you that it be under 500?
Has to be,
Well,
or
on
else
a
it's a
pistol
restricted
is-
firearm.
Yeah,
It's not a restricted. Yeah, okay. But he said air gun.
Okay, I'm sorry. If he's going pistol, it has to be under 500,
mhm.
or it's restricted. He can only shoot at the range. If he wants
So-
to go with a full rifle, then I don't know what to recommend because I don't have any of those that are. I use a 22 if I need a rifle.
Okay, well, so a couple of questions, Adriel. Why are you asking for an air firearm recommendation?
Say at my parents' place where there's squirrels and magpies in the yard and that kind of thing, and you don't
Okay.
want to use a 22 because it's overpowered for the distance,
Right.
and an air gun would be quieter and less offensive.
I like the Gammo air rifles, the real ones that are like 1,200 feet per second with Gammo pellets. They will punch a hole through a steel watering can, like a steel coffee can. They got silly amounts of power. They don't make any noise.
177
Yep,
and CO2 powered or like crank it powered kind
crank
of
it
thing.
power.
If you
Okay.
get a crank it power, make sure you get a nitro piston, not a spring piston.
I've
Which
read
the-
about that.
The Gammos probably are that. They're not cheap. They cost as much as a real firearm, and they require a PAL. Well, you can get some Gammos that are under the 500, but you know you
What's
can.
the point?
I've played with one of those 1,200 feet per second Gammos, and they are amazing.
They aren't super quiet though because they are supersonic, so you are getting a supersonic crack. If
Hmm.
if you don't want that supersonic crack, make sure it's 1,000 feet per second. 1,200.
Yeah,
Well, you'd get that if you went to like a 22 rather than a 177 because the 22 caliber air rifle pellets still have like a decent chunk of lead.
There's a good amount of decompression going on whenever that pellet leaves the barrel. Yep.
so
Yeah.
I don't remember the one I had. Matthew must have been under 1,200 then because there was no crack.
No, yeah. If there's no crack, it was under 1,200. But yeah, I think that's a good question for the listeners. I'm sure we have some listeners out there who shoot air rifles. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for an air rifle, and I'd say the listeners should be the people to help you out here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to hear their recommendations.
So basically, you want accurate, quiet, powerful, and not too expensive.
And cheap and good quality. And
So get a
what else can I ask for? Send me
Get
out
a
a Mac.
Crossman or a Stoger.
Be nice. Non-restricted would be nice if it's non-restricted and powerful at the same time. Yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
Can I make this any more unreasonable?
No,
Yeah.
carry on.
No. Okay. That's it for me.
Cool.
All right, then let's move on to our next item, and that is upcoming events. Adriel, do you have any 3-gun events that are up and coming?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the BC Redneck 3-Gun Championship, 5th annual this weekend. That's going to be in Prince George. It's quite a drive, but it should be good. Let's see. DSS Match is running a 3-Gun Championship match at the Thompson Mountain Sportsman Association. BTSA is running their Civic Holiday 3-Gun match on August 6th. Chaz is running a 2-day doubleheader. The August 11th match will be a 3-gun match. August 12th will be a historical 2-gun match. So if anyone's in the Edmonton area, they want to try competition shooting and they've got a pistol or rifle, or they've got like just a pistol and needs to like borrow a rifle, let me know. Come out to this 2-gun shoot because it's supposed to be super approachable and we should be able to get lots of new people in with a very safe, like beginner friendly match setup.
Cool.
Lakeland 3-Gun has a match on August 12th. And the Wapiti 3-Gun Championship is on August 25th and 26th. That'll be at Grand Prairie. That's a really good 3-gun match as well. There's a bunch of really good shooters out of Grand Prairie and Peace River.
Awesome. Maple Seed events are always ongoing, and if you're looking for one in your area, you can go to www.mapleseedrifleman.com and check their schedule, see if there's one coming to a town near you. We have, I don't know who we are, we have a CRPS match. Who's the we in this? Is it like Slamfire, or how about there is...
We as in Canadians? Canadians have a CRPS match
Okay.
on August 12th. Mm-hmm.
I guess since it's a Canadian thing.
Well, we're in Canada.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's Canadian sport, right? Canadian Rim Fire Precision. Anyway, there's a match on August 12th at Nicola Valley Fishing Game Club in Merritt, BC. Visit rimfireprecision.ca for more information and for links to register. News. Oh, boys. Take your pick, it says. Conservatives.
Well, they're
Statement
all
on-
basically the same thing.
Yeah, basically, all right, give a little announcement here. The Liberals are taking the idea of a pistol or of a handgun ban seriously. Toronto wanted one just for Toronto.
Again, they didn't learn their lesson the first time when they got like just spanked.
Right. But now there was just a, in their words, it's going to be like a slaughter of two young girls. And it's going to be like conservative gun laws are costing children their lives. I think that bad things are coming and they're going to jump on the rhetoric and the fear mongering.
They're already doing that. Yep. So there was there was a shooting in Toronto with an illegal firearm, and the solution is make handguns more illegal.
Yep.
They're already illegal. You can't have them unless you have a license.
Yeah.
Like,
so
how much more controlled can they be? You can't just take them away from everybody and expect them to be controlled now, because the ones that people are using in crimes are not coming from Canada. They're coming across the border. They're being smuggled in. So
the majority, yeah.
But the end game is
the
end game is to take ours.
I know, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't. But that's what
mine. I didn't shoot anybody downtown.
We're not going to make sense of it. We have to fight the stupidity, and we have to rally our listeners to fight the stupidity. They're after your guns, even though your guns haven't hurt anybody and you haven't hurt anybody. They can't take criminals' guns because criminals don't obey the laws, so they want yours instead. So be ready to fight because it's coming.
So maybe we can talk a little bit about what are we fighting? Who are we fighting? The Liberals are rumored or are said to be strongly considering a handgun ban. The NDP's Singh is basically saying the same thing. He's urging for municipalities to have the power to ban handguns. Personally, I think this is so restricted and RPAL licenses have really gone up recently. Really gone up. Like what was the last stat? Doubled in the last 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah, something like that. It's gone up a lot.
Our PAL owners have gone up quite a bit, and some of those people will be Liberal voters, and they're probably contacting the party saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" This may be a preemptive strike against getting more gun ownership in the Liberal and NDP parties to make it more inconvenient for them to have firearms, so that they can still keep gun control as this like whipping boy of politics for them. So right now, Liberal Party says, "Oh, we were considering banning handguns." What's the real political risk to them? Very little, right? Fast forward 5 years at the pace we're going right now, and they will face real backlash from their voters, just based on the number of people who are buying these things, right? So I don't know. Am I going too much on a soapbox here? Too crazy?
Nope.
Too crazy conspiracy theory?
Right. No, Adriel.
Keep going. Get my tinfoil hat on.
Yes.
By allowing municipalities and the cities to ban them, they're going to cut debt, without the fault of their own. Oh no, we just enabled the municipalities to do what's right for them. They're going to cut down on the number of RPAL owners within their own ranks, and therefore be able to continue to blame us for this kind of stuff and continue to, oh, there was a mass shooting. Oh, we're going to add more gun control on. We're doing our part, and we're adding more on in terms of these gun laws, even though we all know it's not doing anything. This guy got his guns illegally, and the first thing they're going to say is, let's put in a handgun ban, right? So I think this is like a preemptive way to cut down on a potential future problem for them.
Yeah, well, I think that they know that Justin has destroyed the party and they're not going to get reelected. And they're going to use this as a platform to try and get reelected. That's my suspicion, that they are just going to, hey, reelect us so we can keep you safe.
Wasn't it Alan Rock who ran with we're going to ban handguns, and they got just obliterated?
It was Paul Martin said that he was going to ban handguns, and it didn't work. But that wasn't after 2 children were killed in Toronto, and it wasn't Toronto. I think they're gonna dance on these children's graves to try and scare Canadians into voting for them.
So the
On a
question now
handgun.
is then, if that's the case, what do we do to help stop it?
Well, the thing I
Educate
put in
gun-
here,
We have to make sure that non-gun owners know that what they are spewing is rhetoric and lies, and they're playing politics. We need to rally our people to make sure that we vote conservative.
Yep, those are all
Yeah.
good things.
And we had a gentleman at the range today saying, you know what? We shouldn't just be talking about guns. We should be talking about freedoms, because the current Liberal government is violating more than our firearms freedoms. They're violating all kinds of freedoms. They're borderline tyrannical. They lie to us. They blatantly tell lies to the public.
that's a politician thing, but like, this party is lying about a lot of like this. It's the most clear for us because it's the most like obvious to us, right? We
Right.
take a look at gun control and be like, yeah, but
So
this,
we
this
use-
guy just used an illegal handgun, and now you want to double ban handguns? What's the sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see this
Yeah.
like it seems too obvious to me to like get on top of a soapbox on it. It seems to a point where it's strategic from their end, and that's why they're pushing for it. I don't think this is a way for them to get votes. I think this is a strategic thing to prevent a future problem for them.
No, right? Yeah, I'll take that bet. I'll bet you 100%. As Matthew and I have been joking about for 2 days, it's going to be a thing. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's keep the train rolling and jump into our main topic here.
If you want to contact your member of parliament, try oneclearvoice.ca. I think it's the gun blog that put it together. I think
Sorry,
it's
Drew, I
just
didn't see that.
it's a quick way to contact your MPs using a similar messaging.
So it's a URL, oneclearvoice.ca, and that helps you contact your member of parliament.
Yes,
Awesome.
It's clearer instructions. It makes the whole thing easier to reach out. Whether it does anything or not, maybe not, but at least it puts a pressure on them. If we can get enough noise about this like sooner, the Liberal Party might think twice about pulling any kind of crap on us, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Now, how about the main topic? Once again, we'd like to thank Ken Nelson, creator of the coolest practical scoring app ever. It has really revolutionized the way that we play our game and the way that we manage our events. And I can't wait to get him back on and hear about all the other cool stuff that he does.
Hard as hell. I don't know if you've seen any videos on YouTube of Hard as Hell, but like they've got the coolest 3-gun stages.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. How about some listener feedback? Matthew, would you take the first one, please?
Oh, Trevor, no, you got to read the thing about listener
Matthew,
feedback.
yeah,
who
Trevor.
sponsors listener feedback, Matthew?
Listener feedback is sponsored by Highlander Tactical. Go to highlandertactical.com to check out a great supply of both inside and outside of the waistband holsters today. Use promo code
Claude?
Promo code.
Who's Claude?
Use promo code SLAMFIRE to check out.
At checkout.
At check. Yeah, I can't read. I told you. I'm pulling off you tonight.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, at checkout to save 10% off your order. Yeah, Highlander Tactical.
Oh, man, when you made the reading joke, that reminded me that Kelly's not here. And I
Right.
forgot to say the reason why she wasn't here.
Why isn't she here?
She got sprayed by a skunk before the show, and
You do
having to
not
take-
want to get sprayed by a skunk before you come on the show.
well, no, she
Tomato
didn't
bath.
get- tomato bath. Yeah,
Tomato
Yeah.
bath. Oh,
we're thinking
Yeah,
about you,
no.
Kelly. In your
skunks.
tomato bath.
Skunks
Ooh.
stink, man.
Sending tomato bath thoughts to you.
Yes,
Mm.
not thoughts of you in tomato juice. That
Well,
would be
now
weird.
there's an image.
All right, the first one from Larry, please.
From Larry. Hey, gang. Really enjoying the show. With all the gun groping talk coming from the government recently, I thought I'd share some positive experiences from this month. Over the past few weeks, several friends and colleagues have visited our range to try out handguns, most having no experience. The first group of 3 had one gentleman who had never held a handgun. He enjoyed it so much he has already signed up for a local PAL and RPAL safety course. After speaking with his wife about the experience, she asked if she could give it a try, so the couple visited the range this weekend. She had never handled a firearm of any type before, so she was very tentative in the beginning. But after some instruction, she got more comfortable, so she fired one round at a large steel target. We talked about why she missed a target and made some adjustments and repeated a few times. Within 30 minutes and 50 rounds, she was nailing a 12-inch steel target at 15 meters with a 9mm. At one point, she hit 19 out of 20 while her husband took video. We had a nice chat when they were leaving, and I'm certain she'll be telling family and friends about an enjoyable experience at the range. The next group of 3 had experience with rifles, but not handguns. After emptying a few mags, they were hitting the targets regularly. One of the guys contacted me later that night. He has already signed up for his restricted PAL course in September and is willing to drive 2 hours each way to get it done. Both of his sons are now talking about taking the PAL safety course as well. For anyone able to find time to educate folks at the range, it's a great way to grow our numbers. Big thanks to you and your crew for what you do. From Larry. Thank you, Larry. Larry's one of our shooting buddies here in New Brunswick. We like Larry. Larry's cool.
Yeah, Larry is cool.
We were just talking about what we can do to help stave off these liberals coming to steal our guns. Larry's got an idea. It's a great idea. Be like Larry.
Yes, be like Larry. Concur.
Yep. Take more people out to the range.
Absolutely. Give them a positive experience. Let them know that we're not the problem and that guns aren't as scary as they think they are. People are always scared of the unknown. If they haven't shot guns before, it's an unknown. They don't know. Yep. They think it's scary. They think it's what they see on TV. Every time you see a gun on TV, someone gets shot. They think that's what happens. You see a gun, someone's getting shot. Not the case.
Cool. You really want to take the next one?
From Rod R. Cartridge, this will be a little bit broken because it's kind of like bullet point, but cartridge case failure example from 2010. And I will put this image on our show notes. It's a big failure. It's what do you call it? Case occlusion, case failure.
Incipient head separation is one of the possibilities, but
maybe, yeah, it might be head separation, and it just like caused a leak at a point on the case head there. It's a 308 hand load. The rest were fine, leading up without signs of excessive pressure. I suspect it was a manufacturing defect in the case, Winchester head stamp. I think I purchased it as new, so that would have been the first firing. Happened in a Savage 110. Savage Design did a great job of handling the released gas, so the gas that came out of the case didn't get shot back in his face. Extractor, detent, and spring were lodged in the magazine box. Oh, how convenient. Just reassemble it. Retrieved, rifle reassembled. No subsequent issues with the rifle. I disposed of the remaining ammunition, which was less than 10 rounds, without trying any more. So yeah, scary, a little scary and interesting at the same time. How a rifle handles excessive pressure or a leak from the case when it happens, because some rifles are great for it. They leak it out specific parts that aren't near your face, and some of them will spray that right back in your face, and that's when you're really glad that you're wearing eye protection.
And he's right about the Savage Designs, though. Matthew and I were on the range one day, and he was helping someone sight in their rifle. They were going moose hunting, and she had, was it an Axis, Matthew?
No, it wasn't. It was a Savage. I think it was a Savage 110.
Yeah. In 7mm, belted cartridge, and it was all over the place. And the husband and wife were like, she shoots better than this, and she's like, yeah, I shoot better than this. And Matthew took a look at the chamber, and he always carries a flashlight, so he turned the flashlight on and pointed it inside the chamber, and he's like, oh, well, there's your problem. One of the previous firings, the brass separated at the belt and left all of that into the chamber, and yet they were able to continue to chamber more rounds and fire the gun. And we picked up the brass. That's what we did. We picked up the brass. We looked at the brass, and we could see the ejector mark on the case head and the extractor mark, and we're like, whoa, there's some serious pressure signs here. Yeah, so there sure was.
Case stayed in there, and you were able to ram in another one?
Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
Dude,
It
I,
was the
I wouldn't
weirdest
believe
thing
it if I had seen it.
Weirdest thing I'd ever seen in my life. No idea how it worked, but it was, and it was hard to chamber around. Like
Yeah, no kidding.
They were smacking it in, but it would go and it would finish all the way in, and it would the bolt would close and they would fire. You got to imagine the pressures.
The scary part was they had just had it at a local gun shop who inspected it and went, yeah, no, we can't find anything wrong with it.
Yep.
Took Matthew 13 and a half seconds after we picked up some brass off the range floor.
Huh.
So, testament to how well Savage rifles are constructed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a defect in the case myself. Looking at the picture here, the way the hole is punched out, incipient head separation is usually a horizontal hole or crack, not a vertical.
Well, you
in my
see a
experience,
line
anyway.
there, and it's suspiciously right there, right on the line. There's like a vertical cut. So, case forming, an issue in how the case was formed, anyways.
Yeah. Metallurgy in the brass maybe is bad. I don't know. Cool. Well, if you would like to send us an email, you can do so at slamfireradio@gmail.com. And when you do, I'll be sure to not forget to plug our sponsor, Highlander Tactical. Yeah.
You make no promises.
You're right. I promise nothing. That's the one thing I promise is to promise nothing.
Right.
Well, set low expectations, and then when you get better than them, people will be happy.
Exactly. Or if you don't want to do something, when you're asked to do something, do so bad that they don't ask you to do anything else after that.
Is that what you do with the dishes at your place?
Exactly. Go ahead and wrap that up for me, Adriel.
The dishes or the iTunes reviews?
Yeah,
iTunes reviews. Okay, yeah. If you would like to review us on iTunes, check us out on iTunes or Podbean or Google Play or wherever you get your podcasts. Shout outs. Matthew, do you have any shout outs?
I should. Why not? Shout out to Fred. Haven't seen Fred in a while. Fred, where are you, buddy? Come on out to the range. There's my shout out to Fred.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've got one to Chad, who's a listener of the show. He's doing the drive to BC, and I am catching a ride. I am officially hiking up my pants, showing a little bit of ankle. He's nice. Me up on the way through.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
I will provide Timmy's and back rubs. Maybe back rubs.
Nope, just Timmy's company and great conversation.
I could use a back rub.
Not nearly creepy.
I got a back rub from you, didn't I?
I placed my hand on your back in a very homoerotic way. It's not. Oh.
Yeah, I was talking to Adriel.
Never mind. Never mind anything I just said. Cut that out. Edit that.
No.
It was a joke.
You weren't supposed to tell anyone, Matthew.
Chris Kingston at the range today, the range master, was asking who was Little Spoon and who was Big Spoon for Matthew and I.
I'm the jetpack.
I stood behind Matthew and put my hand on his back and demonstrated that he's a Little Spoon.
Good times.
Good times. Yep. So, so I got some shout-outs. Are you guys done? Can I go?
Yeah,
go.
You're
sorry,
the host. You can choose to.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever.
So to everyone who came to the 9th annual or the 8th annual Podcart charity shoot, thank you so much. To all the guys from all the other shows, Canadian Patriot Podcast was well represented. The International Liberty or Death Podcast was represented. New Shooter Canada was represented. George Hatch, the man himself, was here with his wife. Mike Hisson and Sarah and the baby. There was just so many cool people, listeners, and podcasters that came, and they make a heck of a long trip. Andrew Vincent set up a booth. I didn't know that was the thing that was happening.
Oh,
but he brought a truckload of product down. That was cool. Apparently, I had a vendor's area I didn't know about, but it worked out. It was good, more or less. So thank you for taking all that stuff down. To all the sponsors who flooded the prize table with amazing products and prizes, thank you so much. That helped contribute to the $7,000. And to everyone who helped build SummerSlam, I got a lot of help on the range to build stages this year. You guys are awesome. And to the crew that rebuilt the house, we actually have a 2-story platform. We call it the house stage. So to Alain, Pat, Stefan, Muffin, the other boys who gave him a hand, who I'm probably forgetting, That's why I don't like to name names, because I always forget somebody, but you know who you are. If you were out there helping, thank you so much. I went away for a whole month, and I came back, and everything was ready to go. So as a match director, it helps me sleep at night knowing that those guys did above and beyond to help make this one another successful match. Hasn't happened yet, but I don't want to jinx it, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be another successful SummerSlam. So, and finally, to everyone who's coming to SummerSlam, see you Friday night in Charlotte at the registration night.
Sweet. Not to take any thunder, but I'm going to destroy your $7,000 raising amount there for charity.
If I didn't want you to, I wouldn't have asked you to host. If you don't destroy it, oh boy, you'll be like cone of shame.
Laughing stock.
Yeah.
Cone of shame. Yes, definitely.
Shame. Yep.
6,800. It's like, go home, never come back here again.
Yeah, that's right. Off the show. Yeah, no, I want you to crush it. I want you to humiliate that $7,000. I want you to like laugh at the children that are eating breakfast. Be like, you guys
could be eating filet mignon if you were in Edmonton.
Enjoy your Pop-Tarts, maritime children. Yeah. So, we'll be doing a check presentation with the principal at a gun club meeting.
Awesome.
In the fall, yeah. Or actually, I think next week, actually. Anyway, more on that later. Patreonies, do we have any new Patreonies? We're at like 89. So to all of you who we know we owe you a Patreon episode, maybe we'll do like 2 or something. It's just been so busy. We're all traveling this time of year with stuff, charity shoots and matches and nationals and Maple Seeds every other weekend. So summer.
Should I do one on the road? Should I do one from the BC?
Yes, of course you can. Yes, absolutely. Create some Patreon bonus content. That'd be awesome.
All right.
So if you're a Patreon, you get bonus content just for you. You get some swag and other specials that come up from time to time. We actually had a promo code for the Calgary Shooting Center once that was just for Patreonies. So, you get some extra content, you get some swag, but you also get to help keep this show afloat and make it possible for us to attend events and, report back to you on those events and create content for the show that for some reason you seem to love so much. And we thank you for having low standards. You can become a Patreon by going to www.patreon.com/Slamfire Radio. Until next week, join one or more of our national firearms associations, such as the CCFR. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada, and like us on Facebook. We're all the way up to 1,937. That's a lot of likes. We are feeling the love. So yeah, take somebody shooting.
Don't
do
tell
what
me
Larry
to.
did. Be like Larry.
Be like Larry.
Be like Larry. See you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Later.